Welcome back, friends, to this week's episode of Daydreamers Club. I am your host, Drew Elaine. Oh my God, y'all. I'm so excited to be doing this solo episode, but let me tell you so many things. Okay, I've decided, one, that I'm going to be doing these solo episodes more just because I did realize that trying to fit people weekly into my schedule doing interviews is almost impossible. I would always have to reschedule or whatever. I also have 2 miniature schnauzers, so if you do ever plan on being on my podcast, just know when you walk in, don't wear nice pants. They jump and they howl and they bark. They are the sweetest things in the whole entire world, but my God, they are just little yappers until you love them and then they'll shut up. But beyond all of that, I have now recorded, including yesterday, 3 fucking episodes. And this Zoom podcast track recorder, if you're watching, I'm showing it to the screen. I am going to sue them for emotional distress at this point. I hate this thing. I have literally, right now it's showing that it's recording. And the last 3 ones that I did, 2 of them being interviews with people, it was showing that was recording. And then I go and I plug it in and the files aren't there. So it's not copying the files. I tested it before doing this episode at this point because I was like, what the fuck? Why does this keep happening to me? And yesterday, after recording my first solo episode since my very first episode, I felt just so defeated. And I was like, is this a sign? Do I need to give up this podcasting? I don't know. I was just so in my feels. I couldn't really get out of it because I felt so defeated. I'm like, why does this keep happening? It's been 4 or 5 episodes now where I'm having to pull the audio from the camera and it just sounds weird. And it's not even me being a perfectionist. It's just it's obnoxious listening to a podcast and the audio is bad. I don't know. So I do apologize. There's probably going to be a few more episodes where the audio is weird, but I am going to invest in a new one of these because fuck this thing. I hate it. Whoever is leaving it 5-star reviews too, I'm coming for y'all because what the hell? Anyways, so I actually wanted to do this episode on my 10th episode, but that obviously did not happen. I'm really excited to be doing more solo episodes because I think it's just kind of fun to yap, even if it's not even I don't know, all photography or not photography, entrepreneurial related. Because I'm like, oh, I just get to yap to the camera. I feel like I'm vlogging. But I had a whole spiel yesterday. So I'm going to have to redo that today. So I asked my Instagram a few Q&As. I was like, oh, what do y'all want to hear? What do y'all want to know? So I'm going to pull up those questions really quickly and we're going to go through some of them. And then I have some other topics I just want to yap with y'all about. Okay. So one of the things, this is not a question, but it's kind of has to relate to me, keep going, is I saw this TikTok and it was it was specifically talking about content creators, but I think this could be relatable to any field that you're wanting to do. And when the girl was talking about content creators, she was like, y'all are putting them on this pedestal. It's just another girl going to get coffee. She's just filming it. And I'm like, honestly, slay. And I think a lot of times we think of oh, that's so cool that this person is doing this thing and it's something that you want to be doing. It's they're literally just doing it. The only difference between you and that person that you're oh, I wish I could be like that, or that job that you're oh, I wish I could do that. It's that person's just doing it and they started somewhere. It's even me with this podcasting. I'm literally just doing it. Even if I'm fucking up along the way, I'm just doing it. I had a lot of people reach out in the beginning oh my God, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. And I'm you literally just have to do it. There's no in between. You just have to start. And then I've been very upfront about all the bumps in the roads that I have ran into, lots of large speed bumps, because with podcasting in particular and video and audio, that's not my forte. And I also don't like reading instructions. And so a lot of the times I'm why isn't it just working out for me? But anyways, even right now, this thing died and I just put batteries in it. So I just had to stop everything I was doing and make sure that the other audio saved. Anyways, I hate this thing. If you're going to start a podcast, don't buy this stupid Zoom track. Going into all of that, I asked some questions to my Instagram and I have a few that I wanted to answer about what I should yap about and everything. And one of them, I actually love this question because this person knows my personality and they know me, but I also think that sometimes she's probably like, Drew, you're always like having these million different side quests. Like, what is your reason for it? Or like, anyways, let me read you the question and then I'll kind of explain. So she says, how do you juggle having a multi-passionate personality and how you decide to monetize / not monetize? So I love this question, again, because she kind of knows me and she knows that I do tend to like pick up on like different hobbies and different little things and whatever. And so it wasn't always that way. A few years back, my sister, she actually does like tarot readings, and like every reading she ever did for me, she was like, you need a fucking hobby, Drew. Like, you need to get a hobby. Stop. Like, because she'd be like, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, well, I work and I clean my house. Like, that's fun. And she's like, first of all, that is not fun. And second of all, like, get a fucking life. It's like, okay, fair. But in my head, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? And also, like, at the time, like, I was in this relationship where, like, literally all of my extra mental space was going to this person. It was always picking up after them. Like, they left. Oh my God. I'm going to rant. I'm going to give y'all an insight into my life for like the last, not this past year, but like before this past year, I was dating someone and for like almost 2 years where they couldn't even like pick up after themselves. There was Diet Coke cans everywhere all of the time. It's just like they didn't really do laundry. They were just very, very selfish in the relationship. I was doing everything. I was still very alone. I've always been very, very independent and like doing everything myself. But like in this relationship, I think I almost stuck with them for so long because I was like, oh, this is normal. Like I've always done everything by myself. I've always been alone. So it just kind of like felt the same. It was just like having someone there. But anyways, like all my extra mental space was going to this person. But even before that, like I just never really had hobbies. I never really did anything because like before that, I was working full time and then photography was like my side hustle. I don't even want to say hobby because I was making money from it, but like hobby, if you will. So yeah, it was just like I've been working since I was 15 and then never really had hobbies. So in this past year, I feel like because my mental space, I was like, I literally felt bored for the first time this past year. Like I have never had boredom in my life until this past year. And it was kind of nice because I was like, oh, wow, this is like the first time like I am not mentally like doing a million things for someone else. I have like time and energy for myself, but now what the fuck do I want to do with it? So in the past year, I definitely like developed my style. Also, I'm so sorry. This is like a really long answer to this question, but I've developed like my style more. I have hobbies. I collected Labubus. I became really hyper fixated on them, but I love them still. Like a lot of people are like getting rid of theirs. I have a whole case display. And then I also started loving bags again. I used to be a big bag girl. Like back in the day, I loved bags. I say back in the day, fucking like probably high school. And then like my early 20s. And then I like stopped wearing them altogether and I didn't even have a wallet. I was like walking around with my credit cards and ID like in my pocket because it always felt really inconvenient to have a bag. Now I'm like, how did I even like do that? Like I just carried things in my pockets, but I think because I get really passionate about things, I want to share it with other people. So with Labubus, I got really excited and I found myself a fucking supplier for them. And I was like, oh, let me buy in bulk so I can sell them to other people because they were hard to get. So that to me, it was like, I didn't even make a lot of money off of it, but it was just like a really fun, like hobby side quest, if you will. And then, with my purses, it's like the same. It's like, oh my gosh, I like found a code to figure out how to get designer bags at a really great price. Well, let me just sell them. And like some of them I'll sell literally at the cost that I get them for. A few that are like in the best condition, I'll make some money off of it because, I need to have the circle of life where I can make some money so I can buy more bags, But if you're looking for a designer bag at a good price, let me know because I'll find you one. So with that stuff, it's more like this is just fun hobby. It's not something that I want to do forever. Like I am just like enjoying it while I'm enjoying it. And I like to like spread that joy to other people. But with other things like in my business where I'm like, ooh, should I figure out how to monetize this or not? I'm at the grand old age where I don't want to do anything that doesn't bring me joy, passion, whatever. Again, I've been working since I was 15. So I'm finally at the point in my business, which is really nice, where it's like, I'm not going to do this unless it's bringing me passion, or you're going to pay me a lot of money if I don't want to do it, because that's the only way. Like, if you want me, you got to pay me. Um, and I'm like currently working on a different service right now, and I have a few people that I'm just doing it for free for them because I'm like, I got to work out the kinks. I need to figure this out. Is it something that I want to monetize on? And because I never really had hobbies or I never really did anything, I just feel like now managing and like juggling all the things, I give myself time off. Like, I think because I have hobbies, I'm allowing myself to have time off. I like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like not everything needs to be monetized. If you have a hobby that you love, you don't have to fucking monetize it. I'm a Capricorn, so I like to monetize off things most part. If like I've done little paintings as a hobby, I don't sell those. I've made some jewelry. I don't sell that. Like, I could, but I don't want to. It's just like, it's for me. So I'm also smart enough to know that, like, how do I put this? Not everything that I do, again, like for hobbies or whatever, is gonna like fit well with my business. Like, if I really, really was passionate about these bags, which I kind of am, but like, I don't know how long that passion is gonna last. Yeah, maybe I might start a website and like sell reused designer bags. But I'm kind of like, I don't really fully want to go down that road. So I got other things to work on like long term. So I think it's really like figuring out like how I juggle everything is it's pretty much like if I have time off or like downtime, if you will, where I don't really need to be editing and I don't have a photo shoot. That's kind of when I work on my like fun passion side projects. And if I don't see it like fully long term, I'm not going to spend a long time trying to monetize on it. That's really my thing, because I have other things that I want to do long term, like with my business partner and like in my business. That's just like a slower paced thing. These other things are fun and fast paced. So hopefully that was like long answer to that question. Uh, I'm like, yeah, I think that made sense. And I also think, particularly the girl who asked me this question, she reminds me of how I used to be in my business, where I worked so much harder in a way where like, or I put way more energy into my business, where now I've dialed back the energy, but I'm still getting the same amount of like clients and stuff. Like, she has that youthful energy. And I think after, I don't know, I hit 28, it all went downhill from there. So, I'm like, she inspires me so much though, because I'm like, God, I wish I had that mindset again. But now I'm more like, work smarter, not harder. Okay, the next question was, how do you stay motivated when in a rut? My sister is gonna fucking love this entire episode because I have confirmed everything that she told me, because she was like, Drew, you're gonna get really burnt out interviewing people every week. And I was like, no, I'm not. And she was like, Drew, you need hobbies. And I was like, no, I don't. Yes, I do. Drew, you need a rest in order to be successful. I was like, no, I don't. Yes, I do. So with this question, how to stay motivated when you're in a rut, is literally is you need a rest. Like, I cannot emphasize enough. And the person asking this question is a Virgo. So I know that like their mind is going a million fucking miles an hour. And it's very, very similar to mine, where it's like you want to take on all these things, you need to do all this stuff, but it's hard when you're kind of like losing like your eyes off the ball, if you will. If I ever find myself like in a rut, I have to rest. Like, and if I don't rest, the universe, literally, I get sick. I actually will get sick. My body starts to shut down. So I always have to remind myself, like, okay, Drew, take this day, because if you don't, you will get sick, because I can like feel it coming on, and then I rest and then I'm fine. But beyond like resting, I would say like remember why you started what you're doing. Like remember why you got passionate about whatever that is. Like if you're feeling like so stuck, not inspired by anything, you need to like, in the nicest way possible, go touch grass. And what I actually mean by that is like go ground yourself and like be like, okay, let me like meditate or whatever that looks like for you, like what works best for you. Go take yourself out on a little date. Go do something for yourself and be like, what truly makes me happy? What is that thing that sparks joy? What is it that actually like inspired me from the beginning to get to where I am now? And it's just trying to remember that, trying to get back to the roots of all of that, because oftentimes we'll get really inspired by something. We start a whole business, we're doing all this, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, you kind of lost sight of everything. Like, why am I doing this? Like, oh, it's making me money, but I'm not feeling fulfilled, or oh, I'm feeling so overwhelmed, or oh, like I'm in a creative rut. I haven't gotten to do anything that I really wanted to do that I'm passionate about because I've been too busy like making money. But you also need to figure out what fuels your fire. So I would just say, like, go back to your roots, like figure out what makes you happy, try to take a little extra time off. And then even if it's like work related or like a creative project, like do something in that's like going to make you excited. So for me, I'll plan a creative shoot or whatever, or even if I'll make like a mood board of like a shoot I want to do, like that gets me really excited. Does the shoot happen? Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, but it's just like remembering why you started what you started and getting back to that. And also fucking resting. You have to rest. You have to rest in order to be successful. And I know a lot of times when I used to hear that, I was like, losers. No, you don't. You don't need rest. Yes, you fucking do. Yes, you do. You heard it here first. Please rest. Okay. What else do we have? We had another question. Okay. The next question I had is, what is a mistake you've made that you'd warn others to avoid? This one can be like, I don't know. I feel like the first thing that comes to my head, it is kind of like a blanketed statement that can go really towards like any form of entrepreneur. And that is, don't work for free and don't give discounts to people who have a following. And I still happen to do that sometimes. And I almost always regret it because there's a weird sense of entitlement. But let me go back to the beginning of that question is, what's a mistake that you could help others avoid? Really would be is if you're starting a business or like you're in the beginning stages and you're like, okay, I need to either like test this product. You can find people who are going to like maybe some close family members, not even family members because family is so different. This is kind of different for everyone, but I really just like highly suggest like don't work for free, especially in the photography community, because what that actually does is like you're telling people like, hey, this service is not actually worth anything. And it is always, always, always the people who you do it for free or at a really heavy discount that will be the biggest pain in the ass. I'm sure you have seen those videos or memes or whatever where it's like $200 client like has a list of demands. The $5,000 client is like, all right, payment sent. When I tell you that is not an exaggeration, that is 100% so true. Anytime I've done discounts, free stuff, whatever it is, those people are always the biggest pain because because they're not paying for anything, there's a sense of entitlement and there's like a sense of, oh, well, I'm doing this favor for you, so you actually owe me. And they don't value it. They will not value it or anything because they're not paying for it. Like, I can't express this enough. Oh my gosh. And this isn't even specifically for the photography community. This is like everyone. I know so many people that have had very similar experiences all across the board. All different types of entrepreneurs have had that experience. And it's like the people who have, there's like that sweet spot where it's like, let's say like $5,000 where they're like, yeah, great, whatever. There are some higher paying clients that are going to be more difficult, but I'd so much rather have a higher paying client that's difficult versus someone who's doing this for free and they're like expecting me to go above and beyond and all of that. So that is like my biggest thing is that I also get really like heated about this conversation because when I tell y'all that I have DMs daily from people asking me to work for free, I am like, I get so angry at this point. I had one the other day and it was a girl. She had like 2,000 followers. Like, I have more followers than that. So she DMs me and she was like, hey, if I tag you in all of my photos, will you give me a discount? First of all, you should already be tagging your photographer in the photos. So you're already like doing something that you should be doing if you book someone, but you want me to give you a discount off of my services that you're requesting from me because you're going to tag me? Like, make that make sense, please. I was so like mad because I was like, that is just so disrespectful. And I get like, oh, shoot your shot, whatever, but like, what? You know, it'd be different if you came to me and be like, I'm so obsessed with your work. Unfortunately, I can't afford it. If you ever have like this creative shoot or something that you need a model for, please let me know. And I get DMs like that. And I like, rarely it's an actual like model or something. But I also get a lot of people who have a shit ton of followers and be like, hey, I want to collaborate. Like, I'll tag you. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but your tags don't do anything for me. I'm already fucking booked. Like, I'm not a new photographer. And it's just like a level of disrespect too, because at the same time, it's those same people that are talking about, hey, this brand asked me to work for free. Like, how dare they? And it's like, then why are you asking your service providers, small business and women for free services? Like, do not be that person. It's really disrespectful. Like, I just can't imagine hitting up someone and be like, will you work for free? So I'm at the point now where when it comes to like content creators and stuff, if I do choose one to work with and it is free on my end, which will probably almost never happen, then I will trade for, hey, I need you to make like 3 posts talking about our photo shoot, because I'm not going to like do all of this work for them and then them not even tag me in the photos, which has happened. So I'm very passionate about not working for free because no one should have to do that. Like, why are we doing that? It's 2025. It's almost 2026. Move on. So biggest mistake would be that. Also, contracts. You need contracts. It doesn't matter what type of business you have contracts. I've been very lucky where for like the first few years I didn't have a contract unless it was like a wedding. So I always had like really great clients, but as I've gotten bigger, I'm really glad that I have contracts. Okay, here is one more question. It said, if you could go back to day one of your journey, what would you do differently? Oh my God, I didn't even like think about this before reading that. Shit. What would I do differently? I think I would put myself out there a little bit more. For the first few years of my photography journey, I never really put myself out there. I always was the type of person that's like, the work can just like speak for itself. Like, people don't need to know who I am, blah, 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 blah. That really, really hindered my growth because especially in a job like photography, it is a more intimate thing. Like, people are not going to want to work with you if they don't know who you are or like your personality. And so people would often think, especially in like the first year, that everyone would think I was my sister because all of my photos were like of her. She was like my first model for everything. And people just like didn't know what I looked like. I was one of those for sure, like tortured artists where it's like, oh my God, like, no, my art speaks for itself. And yeah, sure it does. But like, also, I would never book someone if I didn't know who they were. And now I get a lot of bookings based off of my personality. So I think that would be something that like I would definitely do differently. Like, I feel like I would have grown more in my business if I would have started that earlier too. And I'm finally at the point too where because I'd been struggling, I feel like the last like year or so, to show up on Instagram. And it's funny because I preach this to fucking everyone where I'm like, you need to show up as your authentic self, like the good, bad, the ugly. People want to see it all. It's relatable. Post your hobbies, post your things, whatever it is. But Instagram in particular is so hard for me to do that with because I have built that like based solely off of my photography. Where TikTok, I post whatever the hell I want, and it does well. Like I've gained my photography. I have like 6,800 followers. My TikTok page where I'm posting whatever the fuck I want, it's like over 8,000 now. And I'm like, it's crazy that like 6,000 on Instagram has taken me so long, and this TikTok is like 2 years of like shit posting, you know? Not necessarily shit posting, but you know what I'm saying. And so I finally, like the other day, was like, fuck it, because it had been over a month since I had posted on Instagram, because I always had the need to curate my Instagram to look a certain way and be a certain way, because it just always feels like that's how Instagram is. And I posted myself, and it's not like the reel even blew up or anything, but I felt so relieved that it was like, oh, I'm so glad I could just like post whatever I wanted. Like, and what's the worst that's gonna happen? Nothing. Like, nothing's gonna happen. Yes, I need to still keep up posting my photography, but like, I was just so in my head about it. And I think like also to a point too, it's like I still like my stuff to be aesthetic, because you know I'm a photographer, so my videos will still kind of have that like aesthetic vibe to them. But overall, I was so in my head about that. And I'm finally deciding just to like let that go and like post what I want. And like, it's still going to be a little bit curated, but it's not going to be like, oh, I have to post 3 photos from the same photo shoot every single week, blah, 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 because that was literally hindering me from posting and whatever. At the end of the day, I'm also a photographer. It's not like I'm doing brain surgery or like have to be a lawyer and like super, super professional. Like, I'll keep it professional. I'm not going to go on there and like shit talk or whatever, but like, hey, this is who I am. This is my personality. I'm creative. I'm fun. I'm quirky. Hee hee hee. I didn't just say that. That was embarrassing. But you know what I'm saying? Anyways, I lost track of the question. I'm just ranting at this point. See, isn't this fun, y'all? It's just me yapping. It's like we're on FaceTime. Oh yeah, okay. What would I do differently? So I would show up more as myself. And if you were in the beginning stages, don't be afraid to show up, because that is what is going to connect you with people. That is what's going to find your community. And you're also building a community. Stop worrying about going viral. Like, don't just like post to post, because that will never like do well unless you have like a shit post account and you just want to post whatever the fuck you want. But like, if you actually want to be successful, you need to do community first. And I'm not saying like you have to bond with all the people who are your followers, but I'm saying you need to like be relatable and like, hey, here's something that interests me and it would probably interest all of y'all too, whatever that looks like for you in your business. So, God, what did I say yet? I had a few more, I feel like, topics I touched on yesterday too in the episode that isn't going to be available because my stupid podcast thing. I think the last thing I do want to touch on, because I feel like sometimes, maybe it's like in those podcasts or other entrepreneurs, there's this kind of like, oh, you work a 9 to 5. I don't feel that way at all. Like, if you work a 9 to 5, honestly, slay. There are days that I want to go back to work a 9 to 5 or work a job where I just like don't have responsibilities. I don't know. Like, let me go be a cute barista. But I also think if you are working a 9 to 5 and you have really big dreams, even if it's in the company that you're working for, it's okay to keep working until you like fulfill those dreams, you know? I didn't just start photography and then quit my job. I was at my job for almost 7 fucking years. I quit and then I went back to my job because I was so scared to have quit. So it's not linear. Entrepreneur life is never linear. Healing is never linear. Life is not even linear. So stop beating yourself up over, you know, I should take my own advice, the speed bumps or things not happening exactly on the timeline that you predicted in your head, because that's just life. It never will. But if you are like working to fulfill your dreams, and what I mean by that is like working at 9 to 5 or whatever that is fucking okay. Like, do not quit until you like have a full on push and you are so ready. And even then, you might still go back and then be like, all right, nope. Taking the leap was the right choice. I think that's something else that like I would also do differently in my journey is like not put so much mental space into that job that I had. And like, because in hindsight, like half the time you're replaceable. Like, I know that sounds bad, but we all know how corporate America works. And I wish I would have just like taken advantage of my paid time off more, or taken advantage of the corporate America system a little bit more. That's what I would do differently too. But anyways, I appreciate y'all listening and tuning in to this week's episode of Daydreamers Club. Stay tuned for some more solo episodes, and I can't wait to hear from y'all. If anyone ever has any questions or want advice on anything, my DMs are always open. Thanks, y'all.